Hey guys! In today's video, I'll be talking about the Theodore F1 team that competed in Formula 1 from the late 1970s until the early 1980s and didn't achieve much success in that period. This is part 6 of the Unsung Zeros series, which centres on the small and largely unknown teams, drivers, and circuits in F1 history. You can watch all the previous videos, including the last one on the Spirit Racing team, with the card in the top right hand corner of your screen. Anyways, with my shameless promotion out of the way, let's get into the video and discuss the story of Theodore Racing. In the early 1970s, a Dutch-Indonesian businessman named Teddy Yip first forayed into motorsport when he sponsored the Australian Vern Schuppan in Formula 5000. This continued as Schuppan made his full-time debut with Ensign in Formula 1 in 1974. Yip continued his backing of Schuppan and future world champion Alan Jones in the US F5000 series in the United States in 1976. In that same year, Yip created his own racing team and competed in Formula 1 during the 1977 season using an Ensign chassis driven by Patrick Tambay. The team made its debut at the British Grand Prix in Silverstone, but retired on lap 3 with electrical failure. Next time out in Hockenheim, Tambay qualified 11th but scored the team's first points in 6th place during the race. He had an engine failure at the Oostenrijkring before scoring 5th at Zandvoort. Another engine failure in Monza was followed by an embarrassing DNQ in Watkins Glen, then at Mosport Tambay secured another 5th place. Another retirement at Fuji rounded off the season, but Tambay had scored 4 points in 8 races, an impressive showing for a new team of that era. Heading into 1978, Yip asked ex-Brabham team principal Rowan Toronak to design the team's first custom-built chassis, the TR1. However, new driver Eddie Cheever found it too difficult to drive and failed to qualify for either of the first 2 rounds in Buenos Aires or Yacaparagua. Then the Finn Keke Rosberg took over and won the International Trophy at Silverstone before wrestling his car onto the grid in Kyalami in 24th place. However, he retired on lap 15 with clutch failure and failed to qualify for any of the next 4 races. After scrapping the custom chassis mid-season and taking a break for 3 races, Rosberg returned for the German Grand Prix driving a customer Wolf chassis, where he finished 10th. He was not classified and 5 laps down in Austria, then retired in Zandvoort and failed to pre-qualify for the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. After sitting out the rest of the 1978 season, Yip pulled his team out of F1 in 1979 and instead supported Ensign, the team he bought customer chassis from 2 years prior. A singular car run by Derek Daly, Patrick Gaillard and Mark Seurer captured a best result of 11th place in the hands of Daly, but also suffered 9 did not qualifiers throughout the year. Then in 1980, Yip bought the Flailing Shadow team, but they pulled out mid-season after failing to qualify for 93% of entries that year. I need to do a video on both Ensign and Shadow at some point in the near future, but back to Theodore. Yip brought the Theodore team back to F1 in 1981 and hired experienced designer Tony Southgate and future McLaren team manager Joe Ramirez. The new TYO1 chassis kicked off the 1981 season with a bang, as Tambay scored 6th place and a point at Long Beach. He was 10th at Brazil, then retired at Argentina before getting 11th in Imola. Failure to qualify at Zolder was followed by an impressive 7th in Monaco. After scoring 13th in Jarama, Tambay moved to Ligier mid-season, and thus Mark Seurer was hired in the Frenchman's place. 12th in Dijon was followed by 11th in Silverstone and 14th in Hockenheim. A retirement at the Oostenrijkring in Austria was followed by 8th in Zandvoort, another DNQ at Monza, and 9th in Montreal. Seurer retired from the last race of the season in Caesar's Palace with suspension failure. 1982 saw Theodore really struggle as the outdated TYO1 was replaced by the uncompetitive TYO2 chassis. Derek Daly did 3 races for the team, getting 14th in South Africa, then the team missed the San Marino Grand Prix before returning at Zolder with Jan Lammers. However, the Dutch driver failed to qualify 3 times before Jeff Lees came in for a one-off appearance at Montreal. Lees retired from that race, then Lammers qualified in 26th for his home race at Zandvoort before retiring due to engine failure. 2 further DNQs in Brands Hatch and Paul Ricard followed. Then for the last 5 races of the season, incumbent British and European Formula 3 champion Tommy Byrne came in to drive for the team. Byrne is an interesting driver to say the least, and Eddie Jordan, along with many others, said that he was better than Senna during his junior career. I've actually already done a video on him if you'd like to check it out in the top right corner of your screen. He failed to qualify in Hockenheim, but made it onto the grid in Austria in 26th. 2 more DNQs in Dijon and Monza followed before he qualified 27th and last for the final round of the season in Caesar's Palace. However, Byrne spun out on lap 39. Then going into 1983, Yip saw that the non-turbo powered teams were going to drown as the turbo era reached its climax, so Ensign merged with Theodore and the team ran the Ensign N183 chassis under the Theodore name. The team hired 2 South American drivers, the Colombian Roberto Guerrero and Venezuelan Johnny Chicotto. Cecotto scored 14th place in the first round of the season in Yacaparagua, while Guerrero finished 10 laps down and unclassified. Long Beach saw Cecotto finishing in an astonishing 6th place, while Guerrero had gearbox failure. This was the team's first point-scoring finish since the American race in 1981, 2 years earlier at the same circuit. Cecotto finished 11th in France, while Guerrero retired again, then the team suffered a double retirement in Imola. The team had an embarrassing Monaco weekend as both drivers failed to pre-qualify, then, in Detroit, Cecotto retired on lap 34 with gearbox failure, while Guerrero was not classified after being 22 laps down at race end. A double retirement in Canada was followed by a 16th for Guerrero in Silverstone, while Cecotto failed to qualify. Cecotto was 11th in Hockenheim, while Guerrero retired. Austria and Zandvoort saw Cecotto fail to qualify, while Guerrero retired in the former race and got 12th in the latter. Both cars finished in Monza with Cecotto 12th and Guerrero 13th. Then at the penultimate round of the season in Brands Hatch, only Guerrero entered the race for Theodore and he finished 12th. The team missed the season-ending South African Grand Prix at Kyalami, and from there on in, they never returned to F1. They saw success in Formula 3, most notably with Ayrton Senna, and in IndyCar in America, but the Theodore name has never come back to Formula 1. They were a plucky underdog who scored points occasionally and brought some colour to the grid. Now, usually this is where I'd end the video, but I'm going to do what I've done before, which is take a relevant car around a relevant circuit to take you all back in time. I'm going to try and beat Tommy Byrne's qualifying lap time from the 1982 Caesars Palace Grand Prix, so buckle up for a lap of F1's most hated circuit. The lap time he set in real life was a 1 minute 22.555. Well, that's another target beaten. I was about the same time quicker than James Hunt's Zandvoort time in the Hesketh. This car was fun to drive, but the circuit was annoying in places. Both the fast right-hand kinks could be taken flat out, but I couldn't do it consistently. The rest of the lap I was just locking up or going deep into those hairpin-like corners. It was tedious, but fun. It was weird. Anyways, with that lap over, I think that's the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed me covering the trials and tribulations of the Theodore F1 team. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow my Instagram and subscribe to my Patreon. Furthermore, I'd like to give a shout out to my only channel member, Andy Lamberts. If you'd like to get early access to my videos and a cool emoji next to your name when commenting, along with other perks, please consider becoming a channel member just like Andy for as little as £3 a month. With that being said, I'll stop being a beg, and I'll let you all get on with your day. I'm Nedzo, and I'll see you all later. Bye!